Electrical sockets look and function just as they did decades ago. N2 Global Solutions has developed a new socket called the SuperSocket that allows users to monitor and adjust energy levels. Joining us now with more is Paul Amelio. He's the co-founder, inventor, and chairman of N2 Global Solutions. Paul, what is the SuperSocket?
Well, thank you for asking, and thank you for allowing me to be here. First of all, this is a great program. The SuperSocket basically replaces the current dated socket that's there. So we're part of a Nyse program, which is the New York Regional Innovation Node program, funded by the National Science Foundation. And the whole goal here was to create technologies for New York State to create jobs and opportunities. And my partner and I were watching a documentary about Nikola Tesla versus Edison, and I couldn't help but notice that the switch on the wall had the same kind of characteristics as a smartphone. So I kept thinking, why can't we put smartphone technology into the electrical infrastructure? And that's what we did. So we can save up to 30 to 60% on your electric bill. And we're recognized by Con Edison. We're working with IBM Watson to integrate our product with their Blue Mix and blockchain program to create better wireless communication on the cloud. So we're really excited about what we have.
All right, so it's supposed to be good looking and smart. Let's see it. Let's
my
show
pleasure.
us exactly.
Thank you. So what it basically is what we call the sandbox. We were able to trademark that, by the way, which is unbelievable. And this goes inside the wall, so it kind of lays flush this way. And then you get the socket, which also has intelligence in it, and they snap together. And when they snap together, they power up to communicate and give you information that you normally wouldn't get with what you have now. And not only can we save energy, but we also have sensors that can identify up to 1,500 different elements in the air, from insidious gases to moisture and all kinds of other stuff. The other great thing about it is that you could take out the socket, bring in the switch, and snap that on, so they're interchangeable, including the light fixture. So everything's completely swappable, modular.
Okay, let's talk about installation, because as soon as we start talking about doing construction on the electrical implements in your home, I get a little nervous. How does one install this? Or is this the type of thing that you're trying to put into new buildings and new construction?
Well, by code, thank you for asking, by code you have to have an electrician install it the first time, but once the sandbox is installed, anybody, as you can see, can just snap on a faceplate, and that can be enhanced. So if you're looking for something more, just like when you change your smartphone, you can also change the faceplate. So there's tons of new technologies that we can add to the program and upgrade to whenever you want it to be. So the ROI, because it's a monthly program, it's a subscription model, so the ROI is in less than 3 years. And right now we're looking at, for economies of scale, we're looking at the commercial space. And there's a lot of interest there. It's really growing strong.
Now you mentioned that there are also sensors that can measure air quality.
Yeah.
Why did you decide to build that into this?
Well, because this has always been, we've been following Con Edison. They're on our advisory board, and we want to make sure that we created a product that had interest with them. So it has demand response, it has energy management, and it has the sensors, because as you know, when you're looking at a pre-war building, it's hard to determine what's going on behind those walls. Some of these walls in pre-war buildings, they have pipe dope that, is not made to last the life of a building, and there's underground movement, so there's pipes that tend to shift. So the goal is to identify those potential hazards before they get worse.
We've been using electrical sockets, such as the ones we have now, for years, for generations. How are you going to convince people to change? I mean, this is a big undertaking.
Well, the change needs to happen because we have an energy crisis. Eventually, they're going to shut down Indian Point, right? So the whole idea is to work with the various different mandates. As a matter of fact, in California, they have Title 24. You can't put standard sockets into the walls there.
So would they put in sockets like these?
Yeah, when we were there, they were talking about, we met with the California Energy Commission, and they said we should be written into code to help solve the problems and be part of that mandate, because right now they're circumventing the mandate. They're not working according to the mandate, if you will.
I think there's a risk too, if you actually connect all of these power sources together, that somebody may be able to hack. We've seen some incidents of our power grid getting hacked. What are the security measures you have in place to make sure that doesn't happen in our homes?
That's a great question. The security measures, first of all, we have Zigbee, which has its own security breakdown in there. It's a Zigbee stack, so that's pretty secure. And then we're working with IBM on the cloud. So their program is pretty substantial. So our goal is to keep each one of these components where if you hack into one of them, the other one, you have to break into all of them in order to hack throughout the whole process. Each one of them is coded.
Paul, what are the
protected.
costs to the consumer on this? Is it hardware cost and a subscription cost, or is it just the hardware cost?
There's a hardware cost, but it's all into that subscription. It's not the phone model. It's a smartphone model. So at the end of the day, initially right now the cost is tremendous because it's a new product coming out into the marketplace. You know what flat screen TVs cost and what computers cost when they first came out. But the fact is the value is there because it's not only an energy play, it also eventually grows into other things. We're looking at media. We're thinking that this eventually will replace your cable box. And be able to get real-time channel surfing and so on and so forth. So our goal is to take this to the next level with our IP, which is growing every day.
Paul, thanks so much for joining us.
Yeah, I want to hear more about how that's going to cut the cable box issues. So yes, thanks again for joining us.
Thank you.
Paul Amelio is the co-founder, inventor, and chairman of N2 Global Solutions Incorporated.